seems like all your staff is.
Well, these are hand-picked. They didn't just fall off the turnip truck. As EJ, who used to be in charge of our training, as if I remember correctly, right, EJ? I mean, we've gone through a lot of people. His senior quit, the first day? First week, yeah, his senior. I gave him one of my welcome speeches, and he quit. And so then the only one that showed up back was him. This was a few years ago. The only one that showed up was him. But he's like a comedian. He can do all kind of shit. And you want people that can do all kinds of stuff. They used to call it cross-training. I don't know what they call it now. I don't even know if that's germane vis-a-vis human resources now. But I mean, I want people that can do more than one thing.
Mr. Peña?
Yes, sir.
Should your chairman, should he be your mentor in your area of acquisition, or just your mentor just in life in general?
Well, he'll be your mentor. It's like my son who's doing this without me. His chairman, when he had trouble with the CFO, his chairman did exactly. I was praying that he would do it. He stepped right into the fucking breach for Derek, my son, handled the CFO, told him, don't fucking worry about it. If you're going to worry about it, leave. Now, a 68-year-old telling a 65-year-old, well, a 32-year-old telling a 65-year-old, which Derek would have done. But it's better, Josh, when he's got to fire somebody, the KKR guy's keen as shit. So that's great. Let the KKR guy tell him that, I promised you 3%, Valerie, but we're only going to give you 0.5%. We'll see the bitch come out of you, won't we?
If Josh's mentor was his chairman, he possibly wouldn't have had the problems with the chairman leaving.
Correct, but he didn't. And Josh has only met a couple of these people. And Lucinda's biggest challenge was when people met her and they saw how young she was, they got cold feet.
Josh done a lot of it virtually.
Yeah. He's working. We got guys going to school doing this. We've got guys holding on 60 hours a week jobs doing this. We've got guys running full-time businesses like Jamie doing this. For those of you that are doing nothing else, I mean, I'm sure you'll find some other excuse, but you can do it. And I'm not suggesting you do it half-time, but But the guys that get it done the quickest, Aria, I mean, they did all that shit in 30 days, and of course he was, like he said, 110 hours. What did he say? 130 hours. I mean, you can get we had a guy who you're going to talk to. When are we talking to Simon the Bell?
Tomorrow.
I think, I may be wrong about this, but I mean, he did everything in 10 days.
How old is he?
35-ish. 35-ish. But he's an investment professional. He's successful. He was successful before he ever met me. But like he said in that email, you showed me what the opportunities were. He's on a $250 million deal. He would have never thought of that. And you can ask him tomorrow. You can ask him. And you can ask him how kind I was to him, how understanding, how sympathetic, empathetic. And he'll say, I believe, with the greatest respect, none of the above. I'm not putting words, if you're watching this, Simon. The mentor shit is, Plato, Socrates, I don't need to go off with Aristotle. They've been doing this shit since, they're older than me even, these guys. And that's why they're up there on the Hall of Influencers. Modeling to become a success. That's why it doesn't have to be a journey. And it shouldn't be a journey. Why do you want to make this a journey? That means that you're going to make the same fucking mistakes as the other shithead. Yeah, it's like, and the reason why we call it Quantum Leap, the program, when I came up with the name, I had seen the television program in 1993, Quantum Leap. It's a TV, you can still see it on Google. And the guy was going from time zone to the 5th century to the 30th. And that's good, Quantum Leap. If you can, and I knew what I had done. It's a big advantage. And people used to say, Dan, I mean, you got a big advantage because you've been able to do this. And well, it is an advantage. So that's why I call it QLA, Quantum Leap Advantage. You're going to make people offers they can't refuse. It's the mafia model without a gun. That's flat ass. It is. It's the mafia model without a gun. Yeah, I mean, it's hard for them to say no. Doesn't mean you still won't get no's, but it's hard for them to say no. So you're going to use modeling, and one of the guys, I use some of his stuff, John Wooden, the greatest coach in my judgment that ever lived, won 11 of 12 or 10 of 11 or some bullshit, the NCAA basketball championship at UCLA, who I had the privilege of being on the dais with many years ago. He's sitting next to me like this. He's a little teeny guy. He's the only guy, the coach, and as a player, he's in the Hall of Fame, NCAA Hall. And some guy next to me on this side says, he says, is that Coach Wooden next to you? And I said, yes, it's good. He's on the dais, I think he was on the dais after me. And he said, and I tried to explain, he's got won 10 of 11 or 10 of 13, the greatest coach, basketball coach ever. And then somebody's pulling on my shoulder over here, and it's Coach Wooden. Yeah, Coach? He says, no, Mr. Peña. He said, I think it was 11 of 13. And I said, I made a mistake. Thank you, Coach, sorry. Then I turned back to the other guy, I said, no, it's 11 of 13 national championships.
Was he the one that told certain members of the team that they were only there to train the truly great ones?
I don't know that. But I know he spawned more fucking great basketball players that have turned into great coaches. I mean, he's a great guy. He died a couple years ago at age 95. But McDonald's University uses his pyramid of leadership. McDonald's University. Be more concerned with your character than your reputation, because your character is what you really are, while your reputation is merely what others think of you. Great guy. Great guy. And a lot of these guys I've had the privilege of knowing. Okay, these are the three methods of being successful. Trial and error, which some of you have tried. It takes too long and is painful. Over time, and time will kill you. And then copying other successful people. So it doesn't have to be a journey, it's a process. Whether it's a QLA process or somebody else's process, it's a process. So the journey is a load of shite. And then you want to get around and umbaya, is that how you say it? Yeah, I mean.
Is that why we don't walk on the hot coals?
No, I've never walked the coals. But they've been rocking coals in India for 10,000 years, as far as I can tell. So, but anyway.
It seems like putting together a board and all those steps might be a little bit more.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is. Okay, all top athletes, sports people use a coach. Even Bill Gates has a mentor. One of my boys, who's the sitting governor of Florida, two-time governor, been there, done that. Can't buy it. You have to have lived it. And that's, the biggest challenge with me, not challenge, the biggest problem I have with a lot of the guys coaching this shit, that they haven't been there, done it. In fact, it's really the only thing I have with them it's hard for me to swallow, is because they haven't been there and done it. Now, compared to the guys that follow them, they have more experience than them, but not always. Sometimes they don't. But for the most part, they tell you that it's easy. And because you want to, I'm not going to beat that to death, but you want to believe it's easy, and it's not. This is the results. God, I forgot to put the top thing. This is the difference between 2006 and 2010, difference between businesses that had mentorship and businesses that didn't. Now, even David, a clubfoot ex-rower rugby player from Rutgers, can see that the mentors, business entrepreneurs with mentors, score significantly different, higher. Even a retard Etonian can see that there's a significant difference in the numbers.
I just wonder, why was it less of a difference in 2006 than 2010? It's dramatic.
Because mentorship has become more popular and there's more mentors now. That's why. But even, it goes without saying. Nothing on earth prepares you to run a company that goes from 0 to 100 million, except a mentor.
Even Zuckerberg says that he was mentored by Steve Jobs.
Yeah. And Mark's then remarkable. You cannot teach a man anything. You can only help him find it within himself. Jim Newman, pays positive attitudes, create excellence, and well, not always, but almost always, a mentor, if he's chosen right, will give you, positive references. And more importantly to me is he can show you, I manage or I lead and I mentor by stories. Years ago, I had Costa stories. I had, you shared stories that I participated in with other guys. Now I got my own stories. And Costa used to use stories to manage and to lead. And by example, this worked there, this is, but just reading, listing things, that doesn't work. Sure enough, Jim used to say, when you use bad language like I think I can, now it's sure enough, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Yeah, I'm going to do this. I will do this. I can do this. You never see me or any of the great guys, and I'm not trying to say that I'm Gates or any of these guys, but you never see them question. Everything's positive. It's almost like they're saying a positive affirmation. Guazos on friends. I didn't need much courage in battle. I didn't need much friendship in trouble. But I did need wisdom and rage. Because people say that I was a maniac. No. People say that I could get a little... that's exactly right. It's fucking rumors. There's no fucking YouTube. Well, there's a few YouTubes that show me getting a little crazy, but not many. And so I'm glad they didn't have YouTube back in my heyday. Okay, any questions? Let me see. Listen to the kid. I don't want to fuck it. Okay. These are just examples of idiots. We don't need that. Okay, that's where I wanted to end. Okay. You scratching your head or a question? Okay. Any other questions on anything that we've covered? Who's my 5 o'clock?
I am.
6 o'clock?
I am.
7 o'clock? Okay. Tonight we're eating in, and I forget what we're having for dinner. Doesn't matter. We drinks and canapes, etc. I believe we're at 7:30, and hopefully it's not raining. Tomorrow we have Simon the Bell. That's what I call him. That's not his name, but I call him Simon the Bell. He lives in Kuala Lumpur and Singapore, and he's Australian. And he came to the seminar in August of 2014, and he picked a big deal. Multi-layered governments, which I told him was not going to be easy. Of course, you always underestimate. Dan doesn't really mean that, but and it was hard, and he's now putting it to bed some 15 months later, and he'll walk you through it. Just the antithesis of what you saw with Josh. I mean, he looks like a mature man. I mean, he's all grown up, and so his perspective will be invaluable to the process. And the day after that, we have Christopher Bonner, who's getting ready. We will be closing 2 deals before Christmas. And then the last day we have the filming of Jamie Coyle, who did close his first acquisition in July or August, and he'll walk you through another grown-up. Bonner's not exactly grown up. I mean, he's 30, 31. But we have 2 grown-ups, a semi-grown-up for left to share their information with you. And we'll do more role-playing. And we are now at step 3, building the perception. If there's no questions, ask one question.
Question about, we spoke about
Good night, YouTube.